Hey, it's Coach Justin from Ultimate Baseball Training, and in today's video, I'm going to share with you some helpful pointers on how to cure inconsistent hitting. Let's face it, hitting's tough. The game of baseball is tough, and baseball is such a game of failure. In fact, at the plate, if you fail 7 times out of 10, you're well on your way to becoming an all-star. But that being said, when you're struggling to consistently put together solid at-bats, and when you're struggling with consistently hitting the ball hard, what do you do? Well, in today's video, I'm going to share with you some pointers because there are some things that you can do to get some consistency back in your game. I really think you're going to enjoy this video, so let's just jump right into it. So the first thing I would encourage you to work on if you're struggling with consistency in your hitting is develop a consistent routine, because a lot of the times if your routine is always changing, if you're always doing something different, then your results are always going to be different, right? And I think baseball, there's so many things that are inconsistent. There's so many things that are outside of our control. We can't control the weather. We can't control the team we're playing, or who's on the mound, if he's a righty or a lefty, how hard he throws, what pitches he throws, right? There's so many things that are not in our control. So I'm such a believer in the few things that are in our control. We have to control those. It's funny, I was actually listening to a podcast the other day that had Alex Rodriguez on there, and he was talking about, this is a guy that has 15,000 plus professional at-bats in his career. And one interesting thing I thought that he mentioned was, out of all the accolades that he's won, out of all the home runs he's hit, everything he's accomplished on the field, you'd think that that would be the number one thing that he looks back on his career and is most proud of. But in fact, what he said was, the thing that he's most proud of is out of all those games he played, 15,000 plus professional at-bats, he never once missed his routine. Isn't that incredible? Not once. So I assume he means by that he always stuck with the same pregame routine, and he always stuck with the same postgame routine, and he even had the same routine during the game, right? He always stuck with his routine, and that was what he remembered most, right? So do you think routines are important? I would argue so. So what am I talking about when it comes to developing a consistent routine? Well, I think it starts by, if you can control what happens before the game, you're going to position yourself in a much better way. And you can, right? Your routine might vary a little bit, whether it's a home game or away game, day game, night game, whatever, right? But you can control what you do to prepare yourself. You can control what drills you do off of the tee. You can control your routine in batting practice. So control those things. Your pregame routine is huge. Then let's talk about during the game. Control the things you can control in the game as well. Control what you do in the on-deck circle. So it shouldn't be every single time you're in the on-deck circle, you're doing something different. It should be the exact same. Get yourself mentally ready to hit, get your timing down, right? And get yourself physically ready to hit. But whatever your routine is, right, stick with that routine. Stick with the exact same routine walking up to the plate. You should walk up to the plate every single at bat the exact same way. You should step in the batter's box the exact same way. If you step in the batter's box and you like to move the dirt a little bit around and smooth out the holes and all that kind of stuff, do that every single at bat, right? Even in between pitches. When a pitch goes by, let's say it's a ball in the outer half, okay, when you step out of the batter's box, keep that same routine going, and then try to keep your same routine going after games as well. Whether you went 4 for 4, 0 for 4, spend some time and think about what you did well, what you can improve on. But the bottom line I'm getting at here is if you're always doing something different, if you always have a different input with all these things, then you can't expect your results to be the same, right? But if we have a consistent input, then that's going to give us a better chance of having a consistent output. So that's thing number one. You're struggling at the plate with consistency. Well, get back to having a consistent routine. Another thing you're going to want to have that's consistent is your mentality, your plan, and your approach. So everyone's approach is a little bit different, but what I encourage you to do is just prepare yourself the exact same way before every single at bat. So you should know things like, what's the situation? What pitches does this pitcher throw? What can he get over the plate? Okay, what's my plan? When I'm walking up to the plate, am I truly ready to hit? These are all things that need to be consistent, because think about this. If you're walking up to the plate and for whatever reason, this at bat number one, you're extremely confident in yourself and you're walking up to the plate with an aggressive mentality, you're swinging until it's a ball, that yes, yes, no mentality, you're ready to go that first at bat. But then your second at bat, you walk up and maybe it's a different pitcher, and now all of a sudden your routine has changed and you don't really have a plan and you're nervous, and instead of that good aggressive yes, yes, no approach, you step in the batter's box with a passive approach of, well, if he throws me a strike here, then I'll swing. I'm going to see it and hit it and try to make a decision. If your mentality and your body language and your plan and mentality approach, all that changes at bat to at bat, that's not good. Remember, in order to get the consistent output, the consistent result, we've got to do our best to have the consistent input. So just make sure whatever your approach and your plan and all that kind of stuff is, it's fine. It's individual depending on the player, but just try your best to make it consistent. You also want to try your best to have good timing every single at bat as often as you can. And I would bet that if you're struggling with consistency at the plate, you're probably really struggling with consistent timing at the plate. Maybe one time you're early and one time you're really late, but you're not consistently on time. Because I think if you're consistently on time, a lot of everything else in your swing and a lot of hitting just kind of naturally falls into place. So focus on that. That's big time. This is a big tip here. If you're struggling with consistency, get back to, arriving consistently on time. 2 quick little pointers to help you arrive on time more often. Number 1, time the fastball. You've got to time the fastball and adjust to anything else off speed, but it can't work in reverse. You can't be thinking, okay, maybe he'll throw me a changeup here or a curveball or whatever. You can't be sitting on the slow stuff and then expect your body to naturally speed up to the heat. It's not going to happen. But if you time the fastball and he throws you something slower, you can hold up just for a split second and still put that ball in play hard somewhere. So time the fastball and adjust everything else. And then another thing, especially if you're late, is focus on getting your foot up early. So in other words, start everything sooner and really focus on get this front foot up early. A lot of people talk about getting your front foot down early. I don't think that's necessary. I think you should get your front foot down on time, but a lot of times when I see hitters that are struggling, they're getting everything going a little bit too late. So focus on get that front foot up early. That's going to make it easier for you to see the ball, easier to be on time, and easier to develop some consistency at the plate. Another thing to be sure of is your eyes have to be locked in every single pitch. That's a common issue that players that are struggling with any sort of consistency face is they're not really seeing the baseball very well. So a couple quick tips on how to see the ball a little bit better. When you step in the batter's box, you've got to make it a conscious effort to be sure that your eyes, both eyes, are turned and on the baseball. Common problem is players have their heads tilted or a little bit cocked like this, and they're basically only seeing with their front eye here. So make it a conscious effort when you step in the batter's box. Both eyes have to turn and you have to see the ball with both eyes to see it best, right? To see it well. And then you also want to make sure that your head is level, okay? So my head is clearly level here, but again, if you cock your head like this, it makes seeing the baseball and recognizing pitches that much more difficult. We don't walk around with our head cocked like this because you can't see very well, right? And it throws off your whole equilibrium. Same thing with hitting. So make sure both eyes are on the baseball, make sure your eyes are level. And then the last thing is make sure you're using a soft to hard focus. So when you step in the box, you don't want to be sitting here and staring at the pitcher, because what if he takes 10 seconds to get all of his signs and get ready to go and you're just staring out at him? Your eyes are going to get tired. So instead, when you step in the box, just do a soft focus at first, meaning just glance out in his general vicinity, okay? Just look in his general direction, but your eyes, you shouldn't be intensely focused until he starts winding up and delivering the pitch. Then you can shift your eyes to the window and really lock onto the baseball, but you don't want your eyes to get tired. So go from a soft focus, then when he starts moving, then you can switch into a hard focus. You'll see the ball much better. And the last tip for today's video, this one's critical. You've got to play one pitch at a time. You need to always be doing this, but double down on your focus on this, especially when you're struggling with consistency. And what it comes down to is, playing in the present moment, because too many times, especially when you're struggling, it's easy to think about, well, I need to get 3 hits today to break out of this slump and get my batting average back to this. And no. You can't get 3 hits in 1 at bat, right? Wind it back down. You need to focus on getting 1 hit first. And how do you do that? You win one particular pitch. So win this pitch, then move on to the next pitch. So a quick little tip on how to do that is you've got to develop some sort of release after every single pitch. So let's say it's a ball on the outside corner, right? You won that pitch. Great. You need to do something to release that pitch, because once it's gone, it's gone. You need to leave it in the past. You need to move on to the next pitch, good or bad. It could be, you just missed your pitch, and instead of crushing it over the fence in left center, you fouled it straight back. Well, you need to do something to release that. So it could be wiping the batter's box clean. It could be stepping out, looking at your third base coach and readjusting your batting gloves, but do something to release that pitch. It's done and over with. Time to move on and win the next one. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and really quickly before you go, hitters, I put together an awesome free resource that I really think you're gonna like. It's called the Contact Point Checklist, and you can download it 100% for free. All you have to do is click on the link down below in the description, or I'll also put the link in the comment section for you. But basically what I've done is I've freeze framed the swing at the point of contact. So what I encourage you to do, download this free checklist and then videotape yourself taking a few swings and freeze frame your swing at the point of contact and see how you compare. See what are some areas where you're doing a really good job in at the point of contact and where can you improve. So I really think you're gonna like it. It's 100% free, so I'll leave that link down below. Be sure to download that right now. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit that like button for me. I'd really appreciate it. And last thing, if you're not subscribed, be sure to subscribe to the channel. That way you don't miss any of the new videos we're coming out with on a weekly basis.